guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have Honey Blood Volume 1. And this is by, the story and art is by Miko Mitsuki. So this is another vampire book that I somehow have. I'm at another vampire manga, surprisingly. So this is the front cover. We have the two main characters and that. And here is the back. So it says, when a girl at Hinata's sorrow in the school is attacked by what seems to be a blood-sucking vampire, everyone is on edge and wondering who is next. Hinata refuses to believe that vampires could even exist. There's her. But she meets her new neighbour, Juran Takunaga. That's him, and he's a vampire novel person who writes books. The author of an incredible popular vampire romance novel, dressed in a kimono with an old world air around him. Junior has a taste of Hinata's blood and tells her it's sweet. Hinata can't help but be drawn to Junior, but could it be that he's actually a vampire and worse, the culprit behind the attacks? So there's that. So it starts off where this girl gets followed by a vampire and then she gets taken. And then she goes like a holy school, and she goes, so it says, last night one of our students were the latest victim in the recent stone of attacks. None of the attacks have been fatal, however all the victims are young women who have been suffered massive blood loss. It's quite frightening, this behaviour hardly seems human. Please be careful going home. They're like, whoa, another vampire attack? It feels like it's going to be a real vampire. Hinata is just a normal person. She doesn't really believe in anything like this. She doesn't really care for it much. But then obviously this guy comes into her life, her next door neighbour, and she sees things like him taking a bite of the what are they called? Person who picks up the papers when to the writing stuff. I can't remember the name, but she was biting him. He was biting her, and then obviously she came in to deliver something off, and to find out that manuscript. Why did it come now? And he was like holding a bra and going like looking at her. Hinata's going like, yeah, that would kind of, and she's like getting embarrassed about it because like a really like cute bra. And then it gets on to more from that, where they find out when he does actually have a taste of her blood and say it's like really sweet, because she saw him take another bite of a person again, and she forgot her briefcase and like her school bag, and she comes back to get it back when he's asleep, and he pulls her down, attacks her, and bites her and wants to bite her again. So it's like he's not kind of new drug that will help him not go after people, but it's someone else attacking these girls for blood and draining them with blood. They're not dying, they just have a massive loss of blood. So then she can't get him out of her mind. He can't he's thinking about her more. He wants to take more of her blood because it's so sweet, so good. And just from this situation, it turns out he goes out. He when he does go out, he kind of like has more of a temporal lobe where he will collapse because he has loss of blood himself. Then we find out more about what's going to happen to her if she becomes one of a vessel of him. And she kind of sees this, like just pictures of blood and stuff. This is not in coloured because that'd be horrific. Then she was watching a movie about vampires. And then she goes up to him and goes, "You're writing about your own life, right?" And he's like, and obviously, yeah, so we're talking about his own life, about when he was a vampire. Told him to shut up, and she said, "Have faith in me. If you're prepared," what was it? "If you have prepared to live out your days trapped in my webs, then I'll take you all." So that was pretty much it of it. I don't know how else to explain. So it's just pretty much her meeting Hinata, meeting the vampire. Well, Hinata's supposed to be the vampire, and then that's it. And then kind of falling in love with him as it goes on. So we do have a second volume, but then that is it. And then obviously it will be in the moonlight. So I cannot wait to start reading a book from Fairy Loot finally. Except my limited edition book, that doesn't count. So anyway, this book is quite decent. It's not too bad, but it seems I have a lot of vampire manga books which I need to get some other decent ones. So if you have any decent, like any mangas you want me to come up and read and have a look and see what my thoughts are, please leave a comment down below and I'll happily check them out. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for the next volume of this book. Bye.